What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dash Reacts, and today we're going to react to some young Norm Macdonald back in his SNL Weekend Update days. So this is Norm Macdonald, Constant on O.J. Simpson. Let's do it.
Potential jurors for the O.J. Simpson case were asked to fill out a 75-page jury questionnaire this week. In the entire state of California, only one person got a perfect score. Chow Ming Wu, who after the trial plans to attend Caltech. By the way, you can now purchase a bronze statue of the Juice for only $3,395. And for an even $5,000, you can buy one that Al Cowlings has kissed the ass of. O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking. The crowd is torn.
I love his delivery, man. It's just so deadpan. He's just not going to be affected by it. So he's going to say what he's going to say. Norm Macdonald was great at Weekend Update, man. Maybe, arguably the best.
According to retailers, the most popular Halloween mask this year is O.J. Simpson. And the most popular Halloween greeting is, "I'll kill you and that guy who's bringing over your glasses," or treat.
What?
And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, "God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty." In other book news, Prince Charles released an autobiography in which he states that he never loved Princess Di and that his father pressured him to marry her. The book is entitled, "Of Course O.J. Did It." I mean, come on.
He's not even talking about O.J. in some of these stories. It just goes straight to O.J. He was one of those people that said O.J. did it from the jump. From the jump. Right? Because I know people were torn. It's like, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. The glove. Man.
In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's probably... You don't get worse luck than that.
That's terrible.
O.J. announced this week that he's coming out with a new book called I Want to Tell You. And if it's successful, O.J. will work on yet another book entitled From Football to Prison, My 25 Years of Showering with Other Men.
He does not let up, man.
And finally, in honor of the 50th anniversary of their first publication, Random House will be releasing special commemorative issues of many Dr. Seuss classics. The first to hit the bookshelves will be Green Eggs and Ham and O.J. is Guilty. Judge Ito was interviewed this week by a local TV station in Los Angeles. Asked by the interviewer if it was appropriate for a supposedly impartial judge to be on TV with his case still pending, Ito said, "Maybe not, but how appropriate is it to kill your ex-wife?"
You hear the crowd? You hear the crowd?
It was revealed today that O.J. Simpson told police that Nicole Brown Simpson used to beat him up. He also claimed that she and Ron Goldman killed him.
It's brutal.
O.J. Simpson's lawyers have decided to skip hearings on DNA evidence and go right to trial. Asked why they did this, the lawyers replied, "We want to get O.J. acquitted as speedily as possible so he can get back to doing what he does best, killing people."
See, I don't know. Norm saying all this stuff wouldn't, because O.J. got acquitted. Like, wouldn't you be worried if, like, and that was like a younger O.J., man, and OJ clearly has a temper. Like, didn't he go back to jail for something unrelated? after kidnapping, something like that. Norm is fearless to be doing that. Fearless to be doing that, because OJ could clearly confront him.
Well, let's get to OJ. O.J. Simpson's lawyers say they don't want the families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman in the courtroom during the trial. They're afraid the presence of the family members will just remind OJ of how much more killing he still has to do.
God, man.
Well, O.J. Simpson's lawyers stopped feuding this week, finally. The Dream Team, F. Lee Bailey and Robert Shapiro, were able to put aside their differences and express their admiration for each other after O.J. threatened to cut their heads off. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, sleepy truckers are responsible for 1,000 deaths a year. In second place, O.J. Simpson at 2 deaths a year. It was revealed this week that defense lawyer Johnny Cochran once abused his first wife. In his defense, Cochran said, "Hey, at least I didn't kill her like some people I know."
Hey, Johnny Cochran, for those of you who don't know about the case or whatever, he's the famous one for doing the whole glove thing in the trial that made it, I think, kind of got O.J. Simpson exonerated. And OJ's just sitting there like acting like it's so hard to put on the glove or whatever. Somebody, like, I don't know if I read it or if somebody told me that they possibly tampered with the glove, the lining of the glove ahead of time. I don't know. I mean, if they did, smart on Johnny Cochran because he succeeded at his goal, but I don't know. Do you think that's true or not?
Tomorrow, Judge Lance Ito will take O.J. and the jury on a tour of the now famous crime scene. For the jury, it will be their first look at the actual location. Of course, for O.J., it will be just a case of been there, done that. Judge Lance Ito was happy with the jurors' field trip to the crime scene last week. It went off without a hitch, said Ito. Not one murder. O.J.'s pal Al Cowlings now has a 1-900 number. For $2.99 a minute, Cowlings will tell callers that O.J. is innocent. And for $3.99 a minute, he'll try to do it without laughing. And this week, Simpson defense lawyers questioned witnesses about a half-melted container of ice cream found at the murder site. The Simpson defense has seized upon the ice cream for 2 reasons. 1, it may help fix the time of the murders, and 2, it was the only thing in the murder scene without any of O.J.'s blood on it. To illustrate the point that their client is running out of money to defend himself, O.J. Simpson's lawyer said this week that if he had to do it over again, after killing his victims, O.J. would now rob them as well. That one you find
Yeah, how uneasy the crowd is. It's so funny to me.
troubling? We went, was O.J. Simpson high on speed the night of the murders? Absolutely not, said defense attorney Johnny Cochran today. And a simple test of any of O.J.'s blood found at the crime scene will prove it.
Like, no. Sorry. There's no, like, two-sided jokes. He's not saying, like, possibly he could be innocent, possibly he could be guilty. Norm Macdonald went in the entire time, like, during the whole thing. Guilty, 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 guilty.
And O.J. pal Al Cowlings said this week that in looking for the truth in the O.J. Simpson case, he sometimes talks to a picture of Nicole Brown Simpson, something that in the past would have gotten him killed by O.J. F. Lee Bailey said this week that if the defense only knew what Ron Goldman's last words were, they might be able to find the real killer. You know, if you ask me, Goldman's last words were probably, hey, you're O.J. Simpson.
You gotta keep in mind, the case is still pretty fresh.
Oh no, O.J. has struck again. How about that? Not a good thing. And in court this week, Kato Kalin testified that O.J. Simpson did not appear angry before or after the period of his wife's murder. But Kalin admitted he could have been a touch edgy while he was actually murdering her. Might have been a... Hertz Rental Car Company announced this week that it will buy 520,000 vehicles, increasing its worldwide fleet 24%. In addition, they will try to find a new spokesman who won't kill his ex-wife.
He's going in, man.
This week at the O.J. Simpson trial, the infamous bloody glove was finally introduced into evidence, and O.J. didn't help his case any by blurting out, "There it is, I've been looking all over for that thing." Whoa. And a new shocker in the O.J. Simpson trial. This afternoon, Judge Lance Ito dismissed yet another juror, a 45-year-old African-American male, for failing to tell the court that he had once worked for Hertz Rent-A-Car and that he had once held Nicole Brown Simpson's glasses while O.J. killed her. Dismissed Simpson juror Jeanette Harris revealed in interviews this week that the jury is torn by dissension and is already divided into two camps, those who think he is guilty and those who are really, really stupid. A bad week for the prosecution at the O.J. Simpson trial. Under intense cross-examination by defense lawyer Barry Scheck, LAPD crime expert Dennis Fung admitted that he may have contaminated the crime scene when he accidentally dropped a big bucket full of O.J.'s DNA. Our top story tonight this week in the O.J. Simpson trial. After grisly photos of the murdered Nicole Brown Simpson were shown in court, O.J. turned his head away and wept. It was at that moment that he realized he would never be able to kill her again.
Hear the boos.
Well, in a questionable move by the defense team this week, O.J. Simpson demonstrated how to stab two people at the same time. Remember 12 Angry Men, the classic courtroom drama? Well, the first film about the O.J. Simpson case is in the works. It's entitled 9 Angry Black People, 2 Scared Asians, and a White Guy Who Hasn't Spoken Since Rosa Lopez.
Yeah, man. Norm Macdonald he just wasn't afraid. He's talking about race here. He's talking about OJ killing. Oh man. Dang. Rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. Just fearless.
Testimony during the final week provided some spellbinding moments. In a brilliant move during closing arguments, Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat. Well, the trial of the century is over. Late yesterday, the fate of O.J. Simpson, the most famous murder suspect in United States history, was placed in the hands of the jurors. They must now decide whether to free him or get all their heads cut off.
Classic funny stuff from Norm Macdonald. I really enjoyed that. Seeing young Norm on Weekend Update in his element. And you got to consider, Norm Macdonald was able to carve out his spot on Weekend Update when SNL was full of killers. Like you had Will Ferrell, you had Sherry O'Terry, you had Chris Farley, David Spade, Kevin Nealon, Phil Hartman. Was Jan Hooks on there too? I think Tracy Morgan might have come a little bit later. You had Chris Rock on there. Sorry, he got slapped. Man, you had a ton of really good people, man. But like nobody was gonna do Weekend Update like this dude, and it's just so direct, so funny. And I think most people's consensus now, like years and years later, is that OJ did it. Like, I thought he did it, personally. But I came to that conclusion maybe a little later, but I thought so. But let me know your favorite part of this video in the comments. And if you enjoyed this reaction, please make sure to give this video a like, comment, share, subscribe, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you can find out when I post new videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.